All right, look, I did it. I caved yet again. I was really trying to buy a wireless keyboard that wasn't Apple and kind of, stretch my way out of the ecosystem ever so slightly. Well, that didn't really work. I mean, I do love the Logitech mouse I bought and I use it every single day. It's amazing. But I tried a few different types of keyboards, and if I'm being honest, none of them really worked the way I wanted them to. So I tried the Keychron K3, and I liked it. I thought it looked good. I got it in black. However, the keys were too far apart, and of course, the travel of a mechanical keyboard just kind of meant I was slow and inaccurate with typing, which is a deal to me, so that didn't work. And the second keyboard I tried was the Low-Free Flow. I got that one in white, and it felt a lot easier to type on as the keys were a bit closer to each other. But I still ran into the issue of I just was not typing very fast. And I know this issue could be resolved with both of these just by typing on it a lot and practicing, but I might be a little bit too lazy for that. So ultimately, I ended up purchasing an Apple Magic keyboard, just their wireless, super thin, sleek white keyboard. And I have to say, it's been my favorite. Like I really tried. I tried leaving the Apple ecosystem. It did not work. They pulled me right back in, which I mean, that's good for them. But I tell you, I've used this keyboard only about a week so far, so it's not been, an incredibly long time. And this video is not meant to be a dedicated keyboard review either. Although, rest assured, I will 100% do one of those in the future. But this video is a bit more of just how the keyboard has sort of worked for me over the past week. What do I think about it? And without further ado, let's get right into it. So the first thing I want to speak about is Touch ID. And I didn't think Touch ID would be a massive benefit for me, because using these keyboards, you kind of have to type in your passcode, especially if your Mac is going to be closed, in clamshell mode off to the side. But after using the keyboard, the Apple keyboard with Touch ID, it's convenient. It saves you some time from having to type in your passcode every time you want to open the Mac. And I will say, having the Touch ID version definitely does make the keyboard more expensive. I mean, you can buy just a base, no Touch ID version for, I believe, $99. But if you do want the Touch ID enabled keyboard, it's going to cost you about $150. So $50 more for that Touch ID segment. So the second thing I sort of really began to like about this keyboard is how little key travel there actually is. Now, I knew when I was buying these other keyboards, they're mechanical, and for a long time I thought I wanted a mechanical keyboard, but using both of these keyboards for a little while, I realized I'm not as fast, I'm not as productive, it's not as easy to type or anything of the sort. So ultimately, just a very nice, easy, simple, super thin keyboard from Apple has just been the quickest to type on as well. Now, these accessories were sort of refreshed somewhat recently, and they were refreshed with USB-C, which means, same port as a lot of the other devices I own, super convenient to charge and connect and all this stuff. So to have USB-C is definitely a very nice upgrade, even if it is just a small one. And the other thing I really appreciate as well is the change in function keys, because a lot of these wireless keyboards I was trying from Keychron or Low-Free, the function keys at the top weren't working correctly with the Mac, because I believe with this MacBook Pro, the M4 Pro, may have been with the M3 Pro as well, they had kind of switched around the function keys and, for example, put dictation up at the top, and so this rearrangement of these buttons kind of made the older style keyboards not work as well. So I really appreciate that the function keys are all lined up, and I can actually use them as well. Now listen, when I first got this keyboard and kind of opened it up and used it and stuck it in kind of a dimly lit room, I was like, surely there's a backlight, right? Like this keyboard costs $150. Where's the backlight? And the answer to that is there's not a backlight. So that is probably the first negative I'm going to add to this list, is that you're not getting a backlight, even though the keyboard does cost $150. So if that does matter to you, I would definitely take that into consideration. So the only other real negative I feel like I should mention really quick is there's no feet on the bottom of the keyboard to sort of raise it or lower it in angle. And because with the Keychron keyboard, there was like feet you could flip out and make the angle a bit more comfortable for your wrists. And although this also wasn't an option on the Low-Free keyboard, it still was naturally thicker and taller, which I actually do appreciate. So because this keyboard is so light and thin, you know, it's compact for sure, very easy to travel with, but you cannot really adjust the angle of it. And that could be an issue if you don't already have everything else set up to be able to accommodate that angle. But in all honesty, I mean, that's all I really have to talk about with this keyboard. You know, it's very, very light, easy, simple to use. You know, connection between the Mac and the keyboard itself is very quick. There's no real issues with that. Some small minor complaints, but for the most part, I do really enjoy this keyboard, and I would say it's worth the money. And like I said, you know, if your concern is the backlight and the lack of angle adjustment, then in that case, I would steer away from this keyboard. But other than that, it's great in many ways, and I thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, leave a like, let me know what you guys thought, you know, leave a comment. Maybe subscribe as well. But hope you enjoyed. I'll see you guys in the next one. So yeah, bye guys.